Konami Studios. Boom! What's up, you bastishes? We're back with Death Metal. Dark Knight's Death Metal, that is, issue 5. My god, is this series insane. I loved this issue, man. It was so crazy, so weird. It pretty much tells you everything DC is planning to do going forward in the entirety of their continuity. And I fucking love it. It's just so awesome and crazy, and it works so cool. So we open up this book, and we're getting some more stuff with our Robin King. And he's talking to Diana like, man, on my world, you gave a speech to everybody, and it became so popular that they got a medal for doing it. So I'm going to give you that speech. But before he kills Wonder Woman, in comes the Darkest Night. And he's like, yo, Robin King, we're kind of done here. Let's go fuck up Perpetua. We got a god to kill. So they leave, and he's like, Castle Bat, it's up to you to destroy our heroes. And then Castle Bat just turns into a giant Batman that's a city. You're like, that's awesome. That is so cool. Anybody who still thinks this book isn't something that's stupid and schlucky and a comedy, you're ridiculous. This is a comedy. It's a giant city in the shape of Batman fighting our heroes. It's insane. And he's got different powers from all the things that exist in a Gotham City to take down these heroes. Luckily, they do manage to take him down with the help of the Legion of Doom. And we see Lex making his triumphant return to this book. We saw him in the last tie-in issue talking to Lobo. But here he is. He's like, don't worry, guys. I got you covered. I transferred the kind of like being of Castle Bat into this globe. So we got him under control, and he just smashes the globe. And everything is better off for it. We get a little tease of the fight that would be the Darkest Night and Perpetua. Not a lot going on there. And I'm going to assume we're going to see these two maybe team up or fight later down the line. We did have the Rise of the New God book, which I thought was going to be about the Blackest Night, or the Darkest Night, I should say, and Perpetual fighting, but it wasn't. So now we have a plan in place from Lex Luthor here, and he's got this really interesting idea that we use the anti-crisis energy to kind of create a new beginning. And he goes into this speech that I really enjoyed. I thought this is kind of how you should like tell a dumber audience what's kind of happening. Because to me, I'm like, you start tossing around all these different metals and these energies and these crisis stuff. I'm like, I get it to the most part, but it's not that it's unclear. It's just there's so much you're talking about, and sometimes you could just be like, okay, this is a lot to take in. We're using metals to do what, to power a what, to do what with a crisis energy. So basically, Lex kind of simplifies the idea is that when he was living in Smallville as a child, he'd always go to the planetarium, and he would watch this clip of like the creation of the universe. They called it the Great Beginning. And he'd just always watch how the universe started from nothing and became everything in the world. And then one time it was accidentally played in reverse, so he saw the deconstruction of existence and the universe and of man, and at the end there's just like a speck of nothing, and then just says the Great Beginning. So Lex's plan in that regard is like, oh, so we can take the death metal that I got from Lobo, channel it into this device that I created, and we can use that to like kind of like go back to the beginning. So everything that ever happened, it still happened, but now we're just at the beginning, but everything else still happened. And you're like, okay, Lex, that's a great way. I love it. It's just a great way to say, yeah, it's a reboot, but everything happened, but it doesn't matter when or why it happened. It's a reboot. And you're just like, yes, okay. That kind of makes sense. You're not explaining it super great, but I get what you're trying to say here. So I'm on board with it. I'm like, yeah, okay. I see it. Lex is going to use the death metal to kind of like reboot the universe and start at the beginning with all this different stuff. And he's going to create a device like Metron's chair and these other creatures that are like these old people and all these things that like are the forger of worlds, and they can like see everything and have a recollection of all the history. And the difference this time is they're using anti-crisis energy instead of crisis energy. So instead of like, binding everything together, it's kind of like a looser thread is kind of how they were saying. It's like united by the people and not really by the ideas itself. So it's kind of like they explain it okay, but it's still kind of like you're just like rebooting, but everything still happened. Don't overthink it. We're just trying to get the story out. That's pretty much all it is. And it works. I think it's kind of interesting enough for the most part. Even Diana's like, oh shit, this is the best we're going to do, isn't it? So she agrees to help them. And I like it. She talks to Bruce and Clark, and she's like, well, what do you guys think? And I like it, too, that Batman's like, I've been dead this whole time. The first time we fought Perpetua, I died. And then Clark is like, yeah, there's no coming back for me from this. I'm stuck as this guy who's slowly dying from the anti-life equation. Let's fight one last time, babe. Let's do it. And they hug. They're holding hands. You're like, damn, this is a nice moment. You're seeing Diana taking charge here. So the plan is we have to tie the Darkest Knight's connection to this world, but we still have to go rebuild another one. So the idea comes into play now. We're going to split off into two factions. Diana's going to lead a team with Lobo and Lex, and everybody else is kind of going to stay on Earth and work with Superman and Batman. So we get a shot where Superman's talking to all these villains, and they're like, I need your help with this thing. We're not going to save the Earth here. We're going to destroy it. I think that's a pretty cool idea, you know? So we cut back to Diana, Lex, and Lobo. And Lex gives Diana the Journal of Carter Hall, which has like the entire history of everything that's ever happened. I think it's kind of going to be like, I do believe in the next issue we'll get more clarification on what exactly Diana's going to do. But to me, it's like, oh, we're going to go fight to this area of the world, battle our way to find a way to rebuild creations. And we're going to use Lex's device along with the death metal energy to take the history of our world. So we're going to take everything that's ever happened that Carter Hall wrote in his book. So it's all going to be matter now, and it's going to be something that happened. And this is where I'm like, oh, we were going to get like Future State and Shattered Dimensions. Not Shattered Dimensions, just like Shattered something. Shattered Generations and the present stuff. So it's like all connected in like one working story. That's what that group's doing. Our other group here, we see Superman leading a bunch of super people. There's like Superboy Prime and Bizarro, Black Adam's there, a bunch of the Lanterns, Swamp Thing's on Earth. And they're like, okay, guys, we're going to destroy this Earth. Destroy everything it has. Let's break this bitch down. So they all destroy it, and it kind of like takes some of the power away from the Darkest Knight. So he's like, I have to go back and stop them. And he used to get some of his dark multiversal characters to come and fight them and beat the shit out of them. So back on Earth, our team is getting ready to battle the onslaught that's about to face. And it's like every character in the DC Comics universe is here ready to fight. Eclipso's there. There's like a splash page where we see some of our main characters. Well, not even main characters. It's just Superman with a bunch of the villains. And you see Penguin's got a very sharp rock. I love that. It's great. And then we see that Bruce shows up with all of the dead heroes. And you're like, they're back from the dead, baby. Let's take down these sons of guns. And you're just like, every fucking character is here. They're all here to fight, y'all. We're going to have an insane battle. Look, even the Signal's here. Duke is here, yo. Look at them all. I'm just looking at the page, see if I can find anybody that's worth noting that like might be somebody nobody was expecting to show up. I don't know, Metamorpho's there. That's kind of exciting. Clayface, that's cool. Everyone's there. It's awesome. It's great shit. I love it. And you just see the door open, and there's all these evil versions of people starting to flow out, and you're like, oh shit, it's the evil heroes against everyone. It's gonna be so weird. I'm so excited to see what this book's gonna be. And we're gonna fight like there's no tomorrow, and that's how the book ends. We've seen the last remnants of the multiverse all coming together on this planet to destroy it and restart everything. Damn, this is cool. This is such a cool book, man. And it doesn't take itself seriously, and it doesn't need to. If you aren't on board with this book yet, man, you should. It's so intense. It's so fun. Just such a cool idea where it's like, we're going to make everything matter, but you're not going to have to think too hard about why it matters or how it fits in. Just accept it for what it is. So I think that's such a cool idea. I really enjoyed this book. I think a lot of people are finally going to start seeing what this needs to be and how it's going to be. We're going to get a simple answer to how we restart the universe, and that is Lobo, Lex, and Diana are going to just rebuild some shit by reading a book, putting it into a machine, and then using the death metal energy to bring it back. So I think that's really cool. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in the next issue. I am super stoked for the finale of this book. So, Dark Knight's Death Metal, issue number 5, I am going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.